Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, if you're looking for the worst element in life, look for a politician. And if you're looking for the worst of the worst, look for a Nigerian politician. So the worst people in life are politicians, and the worst of them all, amongst even that set, is the Nigerian politician. There is no such thing as a man of the people fit for purpose Nigerian politician? Absolutely none. And what's led me to this point is the spat that has been going on between Dele Momodu and Festus Kiamo. So I'll present you a couple of headlines, and then I'll play you a couple of videos, and then I'll invite you to reach your own conclusion. So let me kick it off with this headline. I'll read out the headline, play you a video, and then yes, we sequence it in that way. Or I might well let me actually give you two headlines. So let's start it that way. I'll give you the headlines first, play you some videos, and then read you the body of the headlines. So let's go to the first headline. Dele Momodu, after Atiko's money, will praise Tinubu after 2023 elections. So this is Festus Kiamo speaking. So Dele Momodu, after Atiko's money, will praise Tinubu after 2023 elections. So why is Festus Kiamo saying this? I'll play you a video clip in a moment that explains why Festus Kiamo is saying that. And then after that video clip, I'll read you Festus Kiamo's headline, play you another video clip, and then read you Dele Momodu's response. So we do it in that sequence. But just to give you the headline for Dele Momodu's response, Dele Momodu hits Kiamo, says only Tinubu would appoint a certified nuisance as a spokesman. So that is Dele Momodu's response to Festus Kiamo's headline saying he will be back begging for food at Bodilion just after the elections are over. But what's led to all this? Let's pick it up from this point. Watch this video.
Anyone who knows me very well knows that I respect people. I love my friends, but I tell my friends the gospel truth. When Bola Ahmed Tinubu was governor of Lagos and he had issues with Senator Tokunbo Afikuyomi, I came out openly to confront him that what you are doing is wrong. In fact, that night, he called me to his office in his house in Bodilon. Said, why are you attacking me because of Tokunbo? I said, because you could have told the man that you are not going to support him so that he will not waste his time and resources. When he was having issues with Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola, and he was almost dropping him, I wrote an article between Bola Tinubu and Babatunde Fashola in which I warned him that your marriage was consummated in heaven. Either of you or both of you, if you go for a divorce, you are going to perish. On that occasion, he backtracked. When he was having issues with Ambode, I wrote a letter. I remember I was in Turkey. One of my most passionate letters ever. I wrote to him again. I said, look, I'm 20 times closer to Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I love him like my own brother. I said, but don't humiliate Ambode. This man has done great for Lagos State and Nigeria. And he refused. I told him, you can hold the gun, don't fire the bullet. The articles are there in the public domain. Because when he had problems with Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki and he said the man would not become Senate president, I came forcefully out to say, look, CPC has produced a Buhari as number one. Your party, ACN, has produced Professor Yemi Osinbajo as number two, vice president. Now, the breakaway faction of PDP, you are saying one of them cannot be Senate president. I said, I'm sorry, sir, I disagree with you. Let the man be. He refused. The man became Senate president. And they haunted him from beginning to the end. He never had peace.
In your response today, you said that Bola Tinubu doesn't know how to treat his friends very well. Those are the inference that you were making. Is that true?
I gave copious examples.
You also
he's,
made
he's the only governor I know, maybe there are others that I'm not aware of, who had 2 deputy governors and they both got into trouble. You see, when
you are inferring that he cannot be trusted as a friend.
No,
is that what
I'm
you're saying?
inferring dictatorship, nothing else. Democracy, I just said it now. I will never support a dictatorship. I suffered under dictatorship. I was in detention. I was in exile for 3 years. I will never. That is why some of those who are trying to dictate that by fire, by force, someone must become president, I've told them, count me out of it. Dictatorship has no way in my books. So once you begin to demonstrate dictatorship,
so in your books, Bola Tinubu is a dictator.
He is a potential dictator. Let me use that word.
And that is the spirit of your articles.
The spirit of my article was an academic exercise. There was nowhere I disparaged him. But because Festus Kiamo is always an attack dog, he likes to yell. Even when he's in court, he's yelling. I don't know where he got that kind of training from. So when he's talking, he doesn't know how to calm down. He's my buro. He's someone we've been very close. But the moment they gave him this job of minister, a ministry where he has been less than competent, a ministry where everything is in shambles. If I were in his shoes by now, I'm sure I would have resigned.
So there you heard it right there. So that was the vexatious television appearance that sparked the whole thing off. So you heard him in his own words, and you can scroll back to rehear him again. Tinubu is treacherous. He betrays his friends, not to be trusted, a dictator or a potential dictator. So this is what Dele Momodu has gone around TV stations saying about Bola Tinubu. But this had not always been his views about Bola Tinubu, by the way, but we'll get to that in a moment. But Festus Kiamo, of course, the spokesperson for the Tinubu campaign, he responds fairly quickly. Dele Momodu, after Atiku's money, will praise Tinubu after 2023 elections. Kiamo. So let's find out. Let me actually share the screen. Maybe you can read along as well. If the prints are not too faint. Let me see. Let's share the screen. So let's share the screen. So there it is. Hopefully you can see it. So let's take it from the top. Let's take it from the top. So we're taking it from the top, and that's the headline right there, just as I read it out to you. Dele Momodu, after Tinubu's money, will praise Dele Momodu, rather, after Atiku's money, will praise Tinubu after 2023 elections. So that's Kiamo making the headline. Minister of State for Labour, Festus Kiamo, says People's Democratic Party PDP chieftain Dele Momodu was only after Atiku Abubakar's money. Festus Kiamo is the spokesperson of the Bola Tinubu Kashim Shettima Presidential Campaign Council. Momodu, who holds the same position in the PDP campaign, has called Kiamo a nuisance and a figurehead in the Buhari administration. In reply, Kiamo called the publisher a miserable fellow that overrated himself but crashed like a wingless bird from a futile presidential ambition. The minister said Momodu had ended up as a hyperactive hireling and attack dog of perhaps the worst serial loser in Nigeria's electoral history. Kiamo noted that his opponent's only CV to make an attempt at the presidency is no more than mere photo ops with celebrities and the high and mighty in society. This is the sad story of a hopeless clown in his 60s, desperately looking to pick whatever pieces are left of his life by shamelessly worming his way into the pockets of Atiku Abubakar. So those words somewhat excessive. That's really brutal stuff. I've never really known that language in Nigerian politics. Listen to that paragraph again. This is the sad story of a hopeless clown in his 60s, desperately looking to pick up whatever pieces are left of his life by shamelessly worming his way into the pockets of Atiku Abubakar. The APC chieftain said Momodu made himself available to execute dirty jobs against his long-standing benefactor. So note that space, note that space. So let me just reread that. The APC chieftain said Momodu made himself available to execute dirty jobs against his long-standing benefactor, Bola Tinubu. Kiamo said Momodu was quick to don the toga of freedom fighter on behalf of ex-Lagos Governor Akinwumi Ambode for not getting a second-term ticket in APC in 2018. The senior advocate noted that despite serving as a PR consultant to Ambode, Momodu came out to praise Tinubu on October the 26th, 2019 in his column. Kiamo said Momodu operates from the lowest rung of moral debauchery, adding that the PDP official is a man who provides his next meal ticket. So there it is right there. Kiamo said Momodu operates from the lowest rung of moral debauchery, adding that the PDP official is a man who provides his next meal ticket. Atiku is the latest victim of this con man. If God graces Asiwaju's win, if by God's grace, rather, let's take that again. Atiku is the latest victim of this con man. If by God's grace Asiwaju wins the presidency next year, expect Mr. Momodu to do another somersault by shamelessly composing another oriki, that is a praise in Yoruba language, the statement added. So you would think those are brutal words in response to that video clip. But what sort of veracity are we alluding to this? What sort of veracity are we attributing to that? So before we discuss what veracity we are attributing to it, listen to this. This is Dele Momodu again in his own words.
When we were in exile, the first day we got, the government gave us an apartment somewhere on Romford Road in East London. We had no money to buy duvet. In winter, no money to buy even cutlery. Yeah. And Tinubu was the only person ready to give me £500. That £500 to me was like 500 million.
Yes. Yes.
How can I forget that?
Yes.
So there you heard him right there. And that is, and by the way, that was a couple of years ago. But that really goes to the heart of what Festus Kiamo is saying about him. Just a couple of years ago, when he was feeding off crumbs falling off Tinubu's table, and listen to him again. Just listen to him again. This was a couple of years ago when he was feeding off crumbs falling off Tinubu's table. All right, sir.
When we were in exile, the first day we got, the government gave us an apartment somewhere on Romford Road in East London. We had no money to buy duvet. In winter, no money to buy even cutlery. Yeah. And Tinubu was the only person ready to give me £500. That £500 to me was like 500 million.
Yes. Yes.
How can I forget that?
Yes.
So he ended with, how can I forget that? But he's not the person to be asking that question. It's others that should be asking that question of him. How could he forget that? Those were him in his own words. The same Tinubu that he now, a couple of weeks ago, is now telling us is the worst of the worst, a dictator who stabs his friend in the back and who just uses and dumps people. That was the man that saved him from the colds in the UK, by providing him insulation. It was like 500 million to him or whatever it is that he said. How can I forget that? How can I forget that? So when I started off saying the worst people that you can imagine are politicians, and the worst of those people are Nigerian politicians, and there is no such thing as somebody that is of and for the people within the Nigerian political paradigm. That example captures the very essence of what I mean. But let me now give this clownish man the right to reply, and then we'll round it off. So let me share this screen with you as well. This is Dele Momodu responding to Festus Kiamo's really rather brutal slap down, a rather brutal slap down. Uh, so let's share the screen. Uh, Dele Momodu hits Kiamo, says only Tinubu would appoint certified nuisance as spokesman. So there it is right there. Let's see what it's saying. Dele Momodu, Director of Strategic Communications of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Campaign Council, has cautioned Festus Kiamo, Minister of State for Labour, against making unguarded utterances. Momodu gave the warning on Tuesday whilst responding to a recent comment by Kiamo, who is the spokesman of the All Progressive Congress Presidential Campaign Council. Following the unveiling of the manifesto of Bola Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate, Momodu had criticized the document, saying it is an appropriation of MKO Abiola's legacy. Reacting, Kiamo said the publisher of Ovation magazine should stick to praise singing instead of critiquing policy statements. In a statement issued on Tuesday, Momodu said Kiamo is a certified nuisance who has become a shadow of his old self after he was appointed as a minister by Mohamed Buhari. I have just read Festus Kiamo's response to my critique of the APC manifesto of lies. I am not surprised that all he could do was to yell as usual without examining or practically addressing the content of my article. Unfortunately, he picked on the wrong customer, the statement reads. Let me take a few minutes to educate this young friend of mine who has since become a shadow of his old self since he was offered an appointment that makes him look so incompetent by President Buhari. Any self-respecting soul would have since resigned, but Festus Kiamo was not at home the day shame came visiting. The ministry in which he is a mere figurehead is in total shambles, and only a Bola Tinubu would have given the job of a spokesperson to such a certified nuisance. What did Kiamo say I did wrong? He quoted copiously from an article I wrote about 2 years ago, which the Tinubu media teams have been using to campaign endlessly because they have no stronger voice of their own. I am indeed flattered. There is no doubt that I love Tinubu, the man, but I disagree vehemently with Tinubu, the politician. So he disagrees vehemently with Tinubu, the politician, but that disagreement did not stretch to him refusing £500. As low as that, how low can you go? This guy regales with all these Orisa stories. He has similar stories about, panning money from Abiola as well. There is no doubt that I love Tinubu the man, but I disagree I can pronounce the word, but it's not coming out. I disagree vehemently with Tinubu the politician. This is not the first time I will say it publicly. Since I now have the opportunity of presenting the bones of my disagreement with Tinubu, courtesy of Kiamo, I will lay them bare. I hope Kiamo does not delude himself that I cannot make my own choices. I certainly have, and do so openly and boldly. Atiku is my choice. He is not a pretender to the throne. He has pursued his dreams with grace, good comportment, self-discipline, and uncommon equanimity. Festus and his gang I think I'm going to abandon it there. Only a couple more paragraphs where you can tell. As for that political neophyte called Kiamo, he still has a lot to learn whilst trying hard to be a lapdog. So it goes in that direction. But that's the thrust of it. So now, Atiku now the man that is clean cut, Tinubu now the criminal. A lot of people will suggest that they are both criminals, not fit for purpose. But then it is just this element, and we have a lot of them. We had Dele Momodu, of course, he ran, by the way, because his angst when he was running for the presidential ticket of the PDP was that the party was going what was constitutional position of the party that power should transit to the south. So he went into that battle off the back of a power should transit to the south mantra. And as soon as they packed him aside as just a waste of time, he then latched on to the winner. And now this hardened criminal article is now the panacea to Nigeria's problems. But now his benefactor, who used to pump money into his pocket, is now the one that is treacherous to his friends, not to be trusted, and a dictator. So the Nigerian politician, the worst of the worst. What says you? Come share thoughts about this with me in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry the conversation on with you in the comment section. But here, I say peace.